To formally start, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to A Twist of Faith.
And are on filmmakers with different career paths before entering the industry. Hi, I'm Kayla.
And I am Danica, your moderators for today.
You may know him from his works, General Luna and Goyo. He is a director and a composer. Please welcome Direct Gerald Tarog.
Now, yung transition ko to film is actually kind of complicated. Pero the simplest way to tell that story is I was a composition major and yung mga compositions namin was sort of bordering on theatrical. So meron siyang narrative, parang ganun.
He's a producer and a writer known for the film Big Time and Kano, An American and His Harem, a documentary film which she directed. Please welcome Direct Corinne Jimenez, also known as Monster Jimenez.
I can write, make money, but I needed to find like-minded friends. And I think that's the point of schools. In the sense na that's where you find your real connections.
He is a writer, producer, and a director who is known for having the best thesis film and best short film at Cine Filipino Film Festival in 2015. A graduate of our very own College of St. Benilde AV Film, Direct Carl Adrian Chavez.
Yung nag-trigger sa akin to shift talaga was when I was eating in SDA, in 12th floor cafeteria. Ang daming film students na nag-shoot, maybe Digifilm 1 ata nila yun. And I was like, oh, I wanna do that, they're so cool. So, then I shifted. So, nung time na yun, si Jag pa yung head. Tapos, I remember Jag asked me, bakit ka mag-film? Walang pera dito. And I told him, maybe magkakaroon ako in the future. But for now, I just wanna learn.
He's a well-known director, producer, and cinematographer, known for his works such as Hintayan ng Langit, Changing Partners, and many more. We would like to welcome Direct Dan Villegas.
They asked me to do an interview. And I was the fifth choice, by the way. Singit ko lang, yung mga kids kasi ngayon, pag hindi sila first choice, sobra silang offended. Na hindi naman ako yung first choice, hindi ko nalang tanggapin tong project na to. Hindi ko nagigets. Kasi before, parang kahit ako yung fifth choice or third choice, wala na akong pakialam eh.
For gracing this webinar, organized by my History of Philippine Cinema class under the Digital Filmmaking Program of De La Salle College of St. Benilde. On behalf of the film department, I would like to thank our dear speakers for being part of this, filmmakers Monster Jimenez, Gerald Tarog, Dan Villegas, and Carl Chavez. We would also like to acknowledge the presence of our colleagues from the academe and the film industry who are here with us. I also see here our dear chairperson, Director Joey Reyes, my co-faculty from the filmmaking department, Tamer Sanchez, and I also see filmmaker Richard Legaspi in the participants list. So maraming salamat sa pagpapaunlak sa aming imbitasyon. As most of you in this webinar are student filmmakers and film industry practitioners, let me say that we owe it to ourselves to know how cinema developed and how we should be grounded on our own film history. When we want to be part of something, we research, we try to know more about it, we try to understand it. In learning about our own history, we better understand why our cinema is what it is and learn from it. In knowing and appreciating our roots, we can build a better foundation in telling genuine stories that understand the Filipino psyche. It is an honor to know cinema's past because we love cinema. In learning the ups and downs of Philippine cinema, we acknowledge the issues and the problems of the past, as well as celebrate the milestones and successes of the past. And in so doing, we learn from them.
It's important in this webinar is for you kids to have a sense of respect, a sense of recognition, of what is the basis of Philippine cinema today so that you may understand the possibilities, the alternatives of how you can be much better filmmakers than the generations that came before you. The moment you get your diplomas and you step out of CSB, that's when the real education becomes, and that is when you become real filmmakers.
Pasok ako,
And last,
surprisingly, sa College of Music kahit hindi ako naghanda sa auditions. And then, from a very lousy student, I suddenly won scholarships. Well, isang scholarship. And then I was like acing my subjects for some reason. Medyo nagulat ako doon. And although I was still like dropping some subjects, the funny thing is I was learning more when I was not attending classes, because I was spending like 2 to 3 hours in the library listening to music, etc. Now, yung transition ko to film is actually kind of complicated. Pero the simplest way to tell that story is I was a composition major, and yung mga compositions namin was sort of bordering on theatrical. So meron siyang narrative, parang ganun. So, and then yung College of Music, katabi niya yung film center sa UP. So pag wala akong classes, I would go watch movies there. And then naisip ko, ba't parang pareho yung music tsaka film? Pareho silang time-based. It starts at 0 seconds and then ends at some point in time. Tapos pareho silang may structure, may dramatic structure. So naisip ko na, parang feeling ko kaya ko gumawa ng pelikula. And I was already, I think, mga second or third year in my being a music major. Doon ako kumuha ng mga excess units for film. Hindi siya credited kasi sobra na yung units ko. Pero I took up film theory, etc. And then, soon as I graduated, I went straight into doing musical scoring for commercials and films and etc. And then pag hindi ako nagtatrabaho, doon ako gumagawa ng short films on my own. I didn't take up any production classes while I was in college. So yun, humiram lang ako ng camera sa boss ko, and then I invited my friends to act. And then dahil wala akong kilala sa film industry, doon nagsimula yung trend na I was doing things on my own, editing, writing, and of course doing the music. Hindi dahil sa matakaw ako at gusto ko lahat ng racket, although masaya din yun. Pero it's mostly because wala akong kilala that time, and that's why I did everything on my own. So after mga 5 to 6 short films, nakagawa ako ng something na medyo hindi nakakahiyang ipakita sa mga tao. That would be a short film called Carpool, and nanalo siya sa Gawad CCP. It was a short film na contest, and then from that point, one of the judges there was Ronald Arguelles from Cinema One. In-invite niya ako mag-submit ng script for Cinema One. That was around 2006 or 7. Nagsulat ako ng script based on this Sinulog documentary that I did the previous year. Dun lumabas yung Confessional, which was my first film, and nanalo siya ng a lot of awards in Cinema One. And then it was pretty much downhill from there. Pero yun, so halos every year or every other year, gumagawa ako ng pelikula, mostly looking for producers or joining festivals, etc. Until we got sort of lucky with, I got lucky with General Luna kasi sa utak ko, feeling ko hindi ko siya magagawa ever. So parang the script was there, and then kinilamutan ko na, and then after mga 2 to 3 years, biglang may tumawag sa amin, sabi may pera na raw. Ayun. So, ayun, from that point, it has been one sort of wild and confusing ride ever since.
I can write, make money, but I needed to find like-minded friends. And I think that's the point of schools. In the sense na that's where you find your real connections. That's where you'll see, especially schools like Benil or La Salle, Ateneo, UP. I mean, all the universities, In a way, that's where you parang make your real connections eh. And even your high school friends. So parang that's like a big part of what school's about. And so we put up RKO Films, and naging partner ko si Joel Ruiz and Margie Templo, who was from UP. And we had this big dream. The big dream is uh, we'll make a lot of commercials, and a part of it is goes to our art. And we were gonna the money that we made from RKO Films was able to fund Joel's first short film. Well, part of it. It's called Mansion. When we got into Cinemalaya, and then we also got a small amount of money for Big Time, which was also my first foray into producing and co-writing. I made it Mario Cornejo. And then it also made my first documentary feature. It's called Kano, An American and His Harem. So in a way, we were able to do that for a while. But as you get old, you want more. You want that it's not enough na we were just getting some money for our art and some money for our advertising. We just wanted to make bigger movies. We just wanted to make more money. At iba pala, parang for me, one of my learnings was that iba ang accounting ng passion projects and advertising projects. So I still do both. And everyone here, I mean, all the guests, all the speakers here will, I'm sure, share my sentiments na we're all doing the sideline. We're all doing the hustle in the sense that I still love to write, and I still love to make movies. But how I make money is through advertising. So now I have a company. It's called This Side Up. I have found that combination of being able to create content, to pay my rent, to pay for this house. I now have a kid. And it has served its purpose in the sense that now I'm also developing a lot of stories, not just for advertising, but also for entertainment. Mas friendly na ngayon ang arena for stuff like that. Kasi nga, before, we really had to find our way, and I'm sure Direk Joey can attest to this in the sense that you kind of have to stumble into filmmaking. It's not because I want to be a filmmaker. It's not like that at all before. And I'm just happy for you guys that you have all this opportunity to actually take up film, meet your future collaborators in a classroom. I think that's very, very special.
Yung nag-trigger sa akin to shift talaga was when I was eating in SDA, in 12th floor cafeteria. Tapos ang daming film students na nag-shoot. Maybe Digifilm 1 ata nila yun. And I was like, oh, I wanna do that. They're so cool. So, then I shifted. So, nung time na yun, si Jag pa yung head. Tapos, I remember Jag asked me, bakit ka mag-film? Walang pera dito. And I told him, maybe magkakaroon ako in the future. But for now, I just wanna learn. So, awa ng Diyos, nakapasa naman ako ng pag-shift. Then, yun na yung journey ko towards where I am now. So, I'm so happy kasi like this, maraming opportunities yung being a Benil film major to immerse yourself with a lot of things, especially when back in the day during my batch, si Edka Bagnot, we were in-immerse niya kami to different film circles. So we went to Cinema Region in Cagayan. Then we organized something like this, yung Filmmakers in Focus. And then we organized also Cinesb, yung parang film festival. I don't know if meron pa, but before we organized the second year of that CNSP. So from there, ang dami ko na-meet na filmmakers, different filmmakers, regional, then the commercial directors, and then yan sila Sigrid, I remember sila Sigrid, sila Dodo Dayaw, sino pa ba? Sila Zigdulay, yan. So back then, I was the head of the CNSB group. And then I'm also in charge with the curation and hospitality. So being a Bibo kid, lagi ko sila chinichika para, oh, how's life sa being a freelance filmmaker? And then sinasabi lang nila lagi sa akin, walang pera dito. But it's fulfilling. So sabi ko, oh my God, mag-shift na ba ulit ako? Kasi sabi ko, parang hindi ko naman carry na mag-film kasi hindi naman kami sobrang yaman. So, but sabi ko, sige, paninindigan ko kasi I always believe that if you have passion for what you do, you will succeed eventually. So, pinush ko and then eventually, yan, mga Digifilm 1, yung mga Digifilm 2, up until, luckily, napunta na ako sa thesis film.
Photography noon, my ex was working for Star Cinema at that time. Tapos, Direk Cathy Garcia Molina was looking for a cinematographer. Tapos, yung ex ko, sinabit yung reel ko sa kanya, sa Star. Tapos, pinapanood yung feature film ko, nagustuhan nila yung gawa ko, yung cinematography ng film. They asked me to do an interview. And I was the 5th choice, by the way. Singit ko lang, yung mga kids kasi ngayon, pag hindi sila first choice, sobra silang offended. Na hindi naman ako yung first choice, hindi ko nalang tanggapin tong project na to. Hindi ko nagigets kasi before parang kahit ako yung 5th choice or 3rd choice, wala na akong pakialam eh. Si Direk Joey ba to? Direk si Tets, producer sa Star before. Ayun. Anyway, ayun. So, ano tawag dito? Ayun. So, naging DOP ako ni Direk Cathy. Tapos, dahil naging DOP ako ni Direk Cathy, eventually, naging director ko si Direk Joyce, si Pinipining Joyce Bernal, tapos naging director ko si May Cruz. Tapos, for some reason, ang mga kumukuha sa akin, puro babaeng directors eh. Walang kumukuha sa akin na guy directors. Halos lahat ng directors ko are either women or gay guys for some reason. At kasundo ko sila. So, yun. So, I was a perfectly happy cinematographer nung time na yun. Tapos naging director ko din si Tonet, naging director ko din si Irene. Kumbaga wala akong reason to direct talaga. Kasi okay yung career ko, hindi ako nauubusan ng shoots. Okay naman ako financially. And I was perfectly happy with what I'm doing. Just being a cinematographer. Sobrang love ko yung pag-shoot.
Ayan, so may we ask everyone to turn on their cameras na magpo-photo off muna tayo with our guest speakers.